Okay, hello, greetings and welcome. All right, so in this Hermetic process, we have a whole range of exercises, from mindfulness practice to different types of concentration practices to engaging mental vacuity and stillness and just sitting in the stillness, to balancing the elements, to deepen that in the akasha so you can get an astral equanimity, to contracting your mind down to a particle level in astral equanimity so that your mind collapses through the particles into the akasha and you start experiencing infinity, and how you breathe that infinity, which generates a dark violet color, and you associate it to it, and you akasha breathe, to how you use akasha to go into the empty space underneath frequencies, forms, things, energies, light, and then rise within them and know them from within the emptiness underneath the frequency, rather than an external perceiver of the frequency. You know it from within the emptiness of it. You have all these exercises happening through the initiation process, which create what we call causation chains. So you can mind map, just fill a large wall like this, full of A3 sheets of paper with every exercise, your notes about it, your experiences about it. I like to keep it at the end of my bed, so when I'm laying in bed, I look at the wall and go, oh wow, that's my practice. This is the stuff I'm working on. This is what I've got to do. And you'll start to see what we call causation chains. What is the cause of a skill? You want clairvoyance? What causes clairvoyance? So step one, mental training, observing the rising, falling wave thoughts. You get a separation of the layers. That's a platform of clairvoyance. Then you have to observe the rising, falling wave thoughts with your eyes open, walking down the street, and watch your thought processes. Because eye consciousness needs to separate and become equanimous. It needs to separate from the mental space, it needs to separate from the thoughts, it needs to separate from all the sticky parts of your mind that break equanimity within eye consciousness. And then you go, okay, I'm going to do at one point of concentration through the eyes. You pull the eyes onto a visual object and you hold your mind there. And you do it eyes open, eyes closed. Thought form, hold the thought form, eyes open, focus on an object. Bring it into equanimity. These exercises generate a stillness underneath your eye consciousness, type of mental vacuity of sight, which generates an insight into what you're looking at. You look at something and there's a deeper part of you which senses and knows more than the normal intellect knows. It's called insight. And this sixth gate of the mind, we have the five senses, has five gates, and we have the sixth gate, the mind itself that knows, and it starts to wake up through your clairvoyance. And then you apply this throughout the day. You spend time doing what you normally do and generate this equanimity, and you start reckoning, oh, okay, I'm getting this insight mind awakening in the spirit. Your spirit senses start recognizing what you're looking at as spiritual qualities rather than physical, astral, emotional qualities. So step one, mental training, it goes into your visualization skills in step two, and the equanimity of your black and white mirror and through step one and two, and the vital breathing through the eyes and balancing the elements, and akasha breathing through the eyes, and then invoking light through the eyes, and generating various forms of equanimity on the frequencies that you want to work with. You want to get astral clairvoyance, you astral breathe through the eye consciousness, and you generate equanimity astrally, and you get insight with your mind's eye into that astral realm. All this is written on the wall of your meditation room or your bedroom. And you go, okay, that's the causation chain. And you look at the whole mind map, the initiation process, and you see it. You look at it and go, oh yeah, I've got to do that. There it is. That's how clairvoyance works. These are the exercises I've got to do to get the type of clairvoyance you want. You do more akasha in the eyes if you want prophetic vision. You do more vital breathing in the eyes if you want to see vitality and health of people. If you want to see dark patches in a person's energy field where they're unhealthy, so let's say they have a deep bruise from 10 years ago on the side of their knee, and you look at your knee, you're going to see a grey space in the life force around the knee. You go, oh, you've got a knee problem. Let's have a look at that. And then you enliven that, you balance the energy out, you wake it up. You might be doing some kinesiology testing and muscle activation with needles or whatever it might be. It's that clairvoyance of vital energy which allowed you to do that. So you'll do more of that. If you're a tarot reader and you're doing fortune telling, counseling. You do a lot more akasha work in the eyes. So these causation chains are a byproduct of this mind mapping process. And then you go, okay, I've got 10 exercises listed out here for clairvoyance. Let's nail them. And then you do all 10 in a row every day. And those 10 exercises might take 90 minutes or so, and do them, and then you get good at what you practice. And this is important. A lot of Tai Chi people think, I'm going to stand, I'm going to get power. That's nonsense. You're getting good at standing, you're not getting good at expressing power. You want power, you do Fa Jin. You bounce people, you get better at bouncing people, and you generate more power to bounce. You're not getting power through standing. If you stand, and let's say you radiate healing energy, you generate a connectivity and a conductivity for that healing energy as a platform. But you're not going to be good at healing until you practice healing people. You want to be a good healer? Practice. Start working on people. Yes, you'll be more connected. So what happens when you do a standing practice? Your hands and feet all connect and align, and there you are, you become more connected. Now, if you're you balance into that exercise, like you're standing on an aerobics ball, then you increase connection throughout the rest of the body while strengthening the balance and the connectivity and the strength at the same time. So every exercise needs to be defined. What is it for? What's a causation chain? And then you go, wait, so I got to loosen, because standing practice makes people stiff. So you do loosening to unlink the body, you do standing to get more linkage, and then you'll do your push hands to get more connectivity in all the awkward areas. Or you might do calisthenics exercises for that. And then you practice the Fa Jin exercises as the primary, and you do all those other things to help, but they don't generate it. One small piece of the puzzle. So you put a minor amount of time into all those little aspects, and a major amount of time into what you want to be good at, which may have been the Fa Jin or the bouncing and the power exercises. Training power makes you powerful. Standing makes you good at standing. Standing is just really a connectivity exercise that connects fascia, links your body, but it doesn't holistically link unless you're moving and testing your balance. Let's continue. All right, so you've mind mapped, you've looked at your whole training process, you've looked at the causation chains, and you go, okay, this is a clairvoyance causation chain, this is a clairaudience causation chain, this is a feeling causation chain. This is how I master mental wandering, by doing these exercises. This is how I master the elements. And you list out all the exercises and skills that you want. And the skills I want, I use a thicker texture, a thicker coloring pen. And the skills that are important but I don't really want, I use a medium pen. And the skills that, yeah, I'll get round to them one day, it's not really what I'm into, then I'll put it in a thinner pen. So I have different densities and different color pens for writing my mind map and prioritizing importance and psychologically allowing me to relate to those colors. When you write out a causation chain, allow a clairvoyance sheet, A3, and write down all the clairvoyance exercises as a chain. And you want to have at least 20 or 30 different causation chains on your wall. So your walls can get pretty full. You've got the whole book there plus all these causation chains. And then practice them. It's not enough just to understand them, because what I've found has happened when I do this is I'm in a continual state of shifting from this works, but this works better, that works better, that works better. That means I've got to keep adjusting in my journal, I've got to keep changing those cards on the wall and improving my methodology. Your method is never ending. You can always be better at what you're doing. What generates the primary accelerator of growth is your mind's relationship to equanimity inside of what you're doing. If your mind is still when you're doing it, you can do it well. If your mind has static while you're doing it, you will do it poorly. Get rid of static, get the mind into stillness, and work through the causation chains. All right, so this exercise once you've done a dozen or so causation chains, everything becomes obvious. You read about a skill and your mind goes, that's how you get it. You know, you want to do mass hypnosis, that's exactly how you train to get mass hypnosis. You want to heal a room full of people, that's what you have to do to heal a room full of people. You unconsciously begin to know just by looking. So it's not like there's a question. You just look at answers. You look at solutions. So you want to heal? That's what I do. Because you've done the process of doing the causation chains for a broad spectrum of skills until there's an inner knowing of what you have to practice to get good at what you want to do. And what this starts to tell you is, wow, my spirit already knows all this. It's not a product of educating your intellect. It's a product of stimulating your spirit to get the intellectual information to rise in such a way that this is the process of what you have to do. So you'll have this balance between thinking about it and feeling it. And the sensitivity of feeling it out is where the mind stops and can't figure out anymore. You feel it and you continue on that journey. You can only think up to a certain boundary inside of time and space, but feeling, you can feel timelessness, you can feel spacelessness, you can feel infinity, and you can feel God. But you can't think God, you can't talk about it. Different thing. But what the thinking process does is it allows all these intuitive high frequencies, insights and experiential knowledge of touching divinity come into form. It allows you to share that knowledge with people. It allows you to write books about it. It allows you to contribute to the next generation by balancing your intuition and your intellect through doing this mind mapping process, defining causation chains, connecting to spirit, just letting spirit speak. Okay, thank you for your time, and see you in the next video.